So some of you may have remember me mentioning a cleanse build last patch, and it was kind of hard for me to explain with how many cleanses and stuff there is in the game right now. But I finished up the build, and it's even crazier than I thought it would be. It started with me seeing this perk on the PTR. Weapon swapping will cleanse all stuns and roots, like any hard stuns. So if you get shield bashed, voids screamed, you can literally just weapon swap and keep moving as if you didn't get stunned. And that in itself is already pretty insane. But if you've been watching the videos for a while, you already know that the Rapier Ice Gauntlet was a build that was already going for that theme. We had a couple of sources of cleansing or getting rid of debuffs through Entomb, which will cleanse any debuff on us. That has a pretty decent cooldown, and then through Purifying Toast, which will cleanse a debuff whenever we hit a regen potion. But like I said, there's a whole bunch of new perks, and when you actually stack everything together, you actually have way more sources of cleanses than you may think. So we have the hard cleanse from our 300 decks, Entomb, Purifying Toast. On our amulet, we have Shirking Dot Cleanse. So anytime we dodge, we'll drop a dot like that. Purify will drop all debuffs again whenever we get below 50% health. There is a new perk as well, Purifying Heart. So anytime I use my Heart rune, I will also now drop all debuffs. So that means now that our stone form isn't just cleansing crowd control. So we now have two sources of breaking out of hard CCs. Our stone form will break us out of hard CCs and cleanse every single debuff on us. And then if this is down, we can then weapon swap, which will break us out of hard CCs as well. And then, yeah, also the Shrinking Dot and Purify. So that's already a whole bunch of cleanses. But the whole other reason why this build is insane is because of the fact of our artifact here. So in addition to being able to cleanse everything, the things that then get applied to us get applied at a pretty much halved or close to half reduced duration that they normally do. And that's thanks to the Jin's head wrap. The non-controlling debuffs expire 20% faster on you, excuse me. And then the two perks that it rolls with are Vigor and Invigorated. Vigor and Invigorated were already really, really good last patch, but you couldn't stack all of them together like this so effectively like you could before. And that's really just how cool artifacts in the game are now. Excuse me. You can really do some wild things with the build craft, and as you can see, we are only running two pieces so far with Vigor and Invigorated. So we are running at 35% right now, but we can already get more than that because there's a couple of pieces on here that don't have Vigor and Invigorated. But just jumping into the build really quickly, we're obviously running Jin's head wrap, running the Frost Rune Glass in there already. We are still going for the theme of trying to buff our ice damage as well. So we are running the Frozen Rune Glass in there. I'm probably going to put Ice Harnessing on there because Ice Harnessing is also in the game now, and it's the thing that I'm trying to go for on my gear pieces. So I'm trying to get Ice Harnessing and either Vigor or Invigorated on every piece if I can. So on our chest piece, we have Vigor and Ice Harnessing with Sturdy Energy. Sturdy Energy is an amazing perk. It's really strong, especially with the Ice Gauntlet block. And it's something that you should definitely try to practice with because you can get a lot of benefit out of this. But on our gloves, this is definitely something I can upgrade. We have Ice Harnessing on there, but this is a piece where I can then put another Invigorated or Vigor piece. And then same thing with our legs here. We have Ice Harnessing and Shirking, but we have Enchanted Ward on there. Enchanted Ward is not bad, but I want to fully stack the duration of debuffs applied, so I can try to hunt, but the legs are definitely going to be the harder piece to find. And then as for our boots, we are running Ice Harnessing and Invigorated in there as well. But yeah, the build is insane, as you're going to see in the clips coming up here. Taking a look at our weapons really quickly, I just have a 670 Ice Golem so I can get extra stats, but we were running Healing Tomb on there. And then I've actually moved away from a more backstab focused rapier and gone for a more well-rounded rapier. And I've also switched my abilities, which I'll show you in a second here, but I have Omnidirectional Evade, Vicious, and Shirking Frost. And this rapier is nasty, but it really lends to the playstyle of the build now. We aren't as, I guess, patient or stagnant with our gameplay when we were using Riposte. We can really try to play way more aggressive, and a rapier like this that has Omnidirectional Evade and one of the most underrated perks, Shirking Frost. You'll see in the clip just how fast you can turn and pretty much fully kill people with Shirking Frost. But I mentioned that I switched my abilities. We are running Flourish and Finish instead of Riposte. And the reason why I like this is because, as you saw by the abilities, or my attributes, sorry, with this patch we have way more stats, right? So we have a lot of rapier damage now, a lot of base damage. And when you're not running a 2-hit build, you have to hit both of your middle swipes every single time to fully reset your evade. So higher base damage, I wanted to go ahead and buff both of our middle swipes as well by getting Light Edge and running this setup. And as you'll see, it's definitely, I find, a much more favorable setup for the Rapier Ice Gauntlet. And then as far as the Ice Gauntlet itself, I don't think I've changed too much, but I believe still just running a heavy builder focused tree now. But yeah, attributes, as I kind of looked over before, 300 dex to just make sure we get that weapon swap cleanse, 150 int, like I said, because I want to try to buff that ice damage as much as I can. So all that frost harnessing, those rune glass, and then we also get 15% elemental as well from that int, and then obviously 150 con to get that critical hit damage. But let's take a look at what the build looks like in action. For pretty much every fight, pay attention to the debuff bar, but people really don't realize just how much damage the debuffs are applying or adding to the damage that you're taking. In the first fight here is going to be against a Rapier Firestaff, and in this case is going to be both the burns and the bleeds. The burns are going to be buffing how much damage he's doing with his Firestaff abilities, and I believe basic attacks as well, and then his bleeds are going to be the thing that allow him to pop us with his Flourish and Finish. And there is a little bit of a three-way going on here, and I am going to jump back here for a second because I'm not too sure if the bow is going to continue shooting me in the back here, but he does end up retreating after a second here, and then we are going to jump into the fight with the Rapier Firestaff. But I do know that his burnout is out already. Immediately we are able to cleanse off that bleed stack so that his Flourish and Finish doesn't do a chunk of damage to us. And you can see just how low that duration of that burn and bleed is on us right now. By the time he's able to switch to his Firestaff and get the benefit of the burn dot, it's already expired on us. But we've jumped onto him now with the Flesh, and I jump into the Entomb just to cleanse all those debuffs again. Pretty much just thwarting every attempt that he puts on us to try to stack up a bunch of things. Instead of cleansing that bleed there, we decided to go for the Riposte. But again, just trying to stay on his or in his face and play aggressive and try to put his debuffs on cooldown. Get a really nice ice shower, and we're able to put in quite a bit of damage. But again, just pretty much cleansing off every single debuff as we fight here. We do get hit with that burn debuff, but again, we are able to cleanse that off and then negate the bleed with the Riposte by getting the iframe from it, land a really nice Riposte, and then follow up with those evades. But you can already see in this first fight, with just only 2 stacks of Vigor and Invigorated, just pretty much debuffs are non-existent for this build, and it's pretty insane the implication that it has for PvP. But jumping into the next clip here, we have a much better example to kind of show how insane the build is, because we have an OPR, which, as you know, OPR, you will have a whole plethora of debuffs on you. But we are pushing ahead with the bruiser here, and we were able to take out that first healer there pretty quickly. I jump onto the next one in our bruiser's gravel, and the healer just barely makes it out. We jump ahead and we follow up with the ice shower. He is able to block, and then the healer does, or sorry, our bruiser breaks the guard, and then we were able to follow up and get that healer there. But I'm starting to take a little bit of pressure now from the top of the point on Sun. And then I noticed I'm getting pinched from the mage in front of me as well. So I turn my attention to the mage after that entomb, just to give me a little bit of health and then to cleanse whatever was on me. The mage does have wind chill though, which does buy him enough time to put me in a pretty dire situation, as he does land the pillar. And we use the stone form to give us a little bit of regen and then cleanse a couple of those debuffs. Also cleanse those burning stacks with our roll dodge there. I'm able to land a pretty good flourish and finish, and then a pretty nice roll dodge, which allows me to avoid pretty much kill damage there. And then we entomb again to make it out of there, get a shirking frost proc there, turn it into a bunch of damage with that evade light attack. We dodge a couple of those light attacks from the top of the tower, try to go for the shower, but we follow up with that flourish and finish. And you can see what I mentioned about shirking frost and the fact that it will allow you to turn damage on people, because it was already a pretty underrated perk last patch, but with how much more base damage we have now, it does pretty much close to 1,000 damage, if not 1,000 damage every time now. So yeah, a really nice little solo clip there to kind of show the build in action. I do have a couple of duos with Astro here on their Blood Fire build, and we're really gonna see this build pumping with how many people we get on us and how absent the debuffs are going to be on us here again. But we both try to jump on to this Great Axe Firestaff user, and they do manage to make it out with their burnout. And a couple of reinforcements are showing up here, but we land a pretty nice amount of burst with their Fireball and my Shirking Frost poke there. But I start to take a little bit of pressure now as a couple of players have shown up. We get a nice little burst of healing from my entomb, but as you can see, there is quite a few players and a couple of bows that have now shown up. So we both kind of disengage just to reset the fight a little bit, and then we jump back in it. I do miss my flourish, but the Great Axe also misses his reap. And we both again line up our burst with some really good timing there. And I try to finish off the target there, but Astro does manage to line up their flourish and finish and get a really nice kill there. And then I turn my attention over to the remaining targets. Astro providing a ton of fire, but I'm trying to follow up on that kill. But we have a couple of players in our face, and we see the detonate there. So I just pull them away for a second with the entomb, wait for that detonate, and then turn our attention back over. But Astro is able to finish off that one player. We switch our attention over, get a pretty nice flourish and finish, and they're both again low. Again, my Shrinking Frost and Astro's Burnout, we're able to time it just really well, and we get a beautiful little finish off in a little 2vx there. And then we have an even crazier clip, as there is quite a few more players who have shown up at the back of the base here. But again, we're trying to see if we can coordinate pressure and take out some targets, but we get hit with the bow bomb, cleanse everything with our entomb there, try to jump onto this bow and see if we can put some pressure in, but we just dodge back as our stamina is getting a little bit low. Just dodge out of the Void Scream as if it didn't happen with that weapon swap cleanse there. And we are trying to just disengage. We are able to flush out of that grab wall. And like I said, not having any debuffs on us at all is doing a really good job and allowing us to pretty much just glide through this fight. But a ton of bows have shown up. As you see, Astro does get taken out by a barrage of fire. And I'm going to see what I can do to see if I can stay alive here. I do notice that a healer is still back there though, so I kind of jump back in to see if I can provide a little bit of pressure. We get some nice damage in with the flesh from behind, and then I follow up with the flourish and the ice shower to see if I can finish off this one player here. But he does get a pretty fat burst heal, so both the healer and I decide to go ahead and disengage. I pop into my entomb to again just cleanse everything off of us there and see if I can make something happen, but there is quite a few players back there. And we do get jumped on by a mage here. And you can see just how short the duration of all of those debuffs are on us. But we are getting a little bit low on our stamina, so I popped my stolen form just to cleanse anything else off of us and give me a little bit healing, a little bit of healing over time, excuse me. And then we decide to go ahead and turn the offensive back on. I land the ice shower, which allows me to expend a lot of this player's stamina. Try to follow up again with that flourish and finish. We get Astro back in the fight with the burnout, and we are able to follow up with that evade combo there and then finish off the kill. Jump onto the next player with the flesh and the flourish and finish combo again. Just absolutely assassinate them. Keep moving my way to the back line, and then we do get jumped on by a flail here. And like I said, the debuffs just falling off of us as they get applied. And then with the healer also giving us a little bit of heals, we're pretty much able to just keep our way gliding throughout the fight. Excuse me, put a bunch of damage into that one target, but I decided to jump ahead to see if I can leave that kill for our teammates behind us, and then see if I can follow up on that kill in front of me. But we're just trucking along. We do get hit with the Void Scream there, but not having the cleanse, it does only last 2 seconds, and then we're able to get out of it pretty quickly. And a lot of the players have focused onto us now. But yeah, just an absolute truck of a build, and it is, like I said, not even really that close to being finished off. So I'm pretty happy with where it is sitting at. As always, if you guys have any questions at all about the build or anything, please let me know in the comments. But as always, thank you all so much for watching the video, and have an amazing day.